comedian. Give it up, please, for the one and only Henry Ginsberg!
Evening all, how are you? Are you well? Okay, so just to recap, where are the single people in the room? Give me a cheer if you're single. Yay, some of you are surprisingly happy about that. Cheers, nice to have you here. I actually proposed to my girlfriend the other day. Yeah, she didn't text back. My name is Ginsberg, it's a Jewish surname, and I wasn't raised Jewish. I don't really have much sense of racial identity, but something happened to me very recently which made me really rethink the way I feel about Judaism. I read this book called Mein Kampf. Some of you familiar with the text? Mein Kampf, Hitler's best-selling autobiography. I was reading it, and the thing is, it's a fascinating book to read, but the thing is, people are so closed-minded. If they see you reading it, they think just because you're reading it, you must be a Nazi, because I made the mistake of reading it in public, and, 5 or 6 Jewish people actually came up to me and said, "Hey, you, get out of our synagogue," which is intolerant, and in fairness, I was reading it aloud. In German in an SS uniform, but I'm allowed to say that because I'm racist. Now, I actually hate it when people do that. Do you ever have someone tell you a really racist joke and then afterwards they go, "Oh, it's okay, my best friend's black"? Yeah, I've always rules because that doesn't apply to anything else in life. You can't rob a bank and go, "Give me the fucking money." It's okay, my dad's an accountant. Anyway, that was a bit of observational humour there, one of the many weapons in my creative arsenal. I don't normally do that much observational humour because, in case you haven't guessed by now, I'm quite an eccentric person, and because normally you see comics on stage like going, "Hey lads, you know what it's like when you're having a wank." Yeah, I don't know why I directed that at you specifically. No, but I don't have that sort of everyman persona. So like when I try and do observational humour, it tends to be more like, "Hey, you know when you're wanking and you lose your erection because your fantasy doesn't follow a cohesive narrative structure." This guy knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, ever fantasise about people you're not attracted to so that it's more of a challenge? What's that about? No, I'm like this because I get very angsty. Does anyone else in here suffer with anxiety at all? Yeah, I know, not a question normally asked at comedy. It's very rarely you see comics going, "Hey, where are you from? Do you cut yourself?" Top crowd. I've got a bizarre relationship with my psyche. Basically, I can't leave it unattended for too long. I'll be walking along thinking perfectly happy thoughts, and then I just let my guard down for a second, and then the voices in my head start going, "Death, disease, war, evil." It's like there's a little man inside my head, and whenever I'm feeling happy or content with the world, he thinks to himself, "Ah, Henry's feeling happy. I wonder what would be the most unpleasant thought I can implant in his head right now." That's, "How do you know you're not a paedophile? Maybe you haven't met the right kid yet." Not easy. I'll be chatting with a girl, it's going quite well, and then in my head I hear, "All men are potential rapists. You're just an underachiever." I commit a lot of faux pas as well, Particularly doing this job, because when you're a comic, it's incredibly easy to accidentally say the wrong thing and freak people out a bit. Like, I did this gig a few years ago, this really grotty basement below a pub in front of about 3 people, live the dream. And it wasn't going well, and you know how sometimes you mean to say one thing, but when you say it, it doesn't quite come out sounding how you hoped it would? Well, on this occasion, what I meant to say was, "God, this room's really grotty. It looks like the set of a rape scene in a David Fincher movie." But what I actually said was, "This would be a good room to rape someone in." So I'll tell you a bit more about myself, as if you needed to know more. I don't watch nearly as much internet porn as you probably think to look at me. Yeah. Whenever I look at the titles of porn films, I'm always amazed at how many of them have numbers on the end, because they've all got titles like "Cum Sluts 14. Is it really absolutely necessary for porn films to have sequels? Are there really men in the world who finish watching a porn film and go, "But what happened next?" Dave, have you heard Cum Sluts 14's out? Oh, good, because Cum Sluts 13 have so many unanswered questions. Did the fridge ever get fixed?
You happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. I thought that went quite well. I enjoyed it. Nice crowd.
Every punchline hit?
Yeah, no, I liked it. I kind of gained momentum as I was going, But, I generally feel more comfortable on stage than off, so
Yeah, I hear that. It's like it's the few minutes of the day where you don't feel like you're falling.
Yeah, because I'm socially inept most of the time. I like stand-up because it's like a conversation filtered through an artistic medium.
That doesn't count as a conversation.
It does in my world.
I know exactly, and that's a comic
this is
for
a
you.
big step forward for me.
I know, you've been stepped outside today. And, well, there you go. That's a comedian for you. Henry Ginsberg. Well done, mate.